All right, thank you very much, Hert, and welcome everybody. I'm very honored to speak here because actually 2 years ago, when I was still living in India, a friend of mine spoke here, and that's the reason why I came to Maastricht in the first place. So, let me tell you a little bit about this. A lot of people are looking for jobs, they're looking for money, they want to work, and there's a lot of unemployment going around these days. But the question is, do you really want to get a job? Do you really want to work? Because this is a picture of a friend of mine. He sent me after his 1-year anniversary on his job, and this is how he looks. So then the question is, why do people look like that after working for 1 year in a company? And I have a theory, and my theory is that hierarchies still rule most of the world. So there is a lot of top-down hierarchies in politics, be it in companies, where the CEO or the president or the chancellor rules the whole thing and nobody else really gets involved. And yes, why is that? This is because all this industrial military thinking comes from what you see here. The military, which is why people are called, the titles are called CEO and so on. It always has the word officer in it. And I believe that these kind of organizations hinder creativity. In my experience, when I used to work for a startup, I was then a call center operator, and I was trying to change things in the company and do more than I was supposed to, and instead of getting a promotion, I got fired. So then I started looking around at other ways. What other ways are there, and what other organizations are there which fit more the current climate of times? So I came across one guy, which is Ricardo Semler. He's a Brazilian guy, and what he did is he took over his dad's company under one condition. He wanted to fire the whole management board and change the whole organizational structure. So that's what he did. He changed everything, and it actually became quite an interesting example of how organizations can work. He gave everybody in the organization flex working hours, even the assembly line workers. He gave people the right to choose their own wage, to choose their own co-workers, and interview their own bosses. So the company's decision making basically became a decision of its employees. So people were also allowed to start new companies within that company and change jobs within the company. So the result of this was this. A lot of the employees were a lot happier, and the company grew exponentially, or actually grew at a 20% per year rate for the last 20 years, and went from a small manufacturing company to a conglomerate. So, when you become an entrepreneur, this is a representation of me, a young entrepreneur, you have a lot of issues you have to deal with. External as well as internal in your mind and from the people who are around you, who are always talking to you. For example, religion, or your parents. People are telling you, don't become an entrepreneur. What are you doing? You should get a job. You should have security. You should have a steady income. And that's not really in the cards for an entrepreneur. It's more risky. You know? Moreover, a lot of people have the image that businessmen, so not really entrepreneurs, because that's more of a specialist term, businessmen are people who are just pigs, who are sitting there and taking all your money and all your resources for themselves. Another problem which you tend to have is money. A lot of people worry about money, and as a young entrepreneur, you don't really have the possibility to get so much money because you don't have anything to back it up with. You don't have, for example, I don't have a car or a house, and I don't have money from my daddy and mommy who have just given it to me. A further one is the time that you have to spend on developing a product, on waiting for other people to take decisions. For example, in my current project, I had to wait 5 months for a contract to be signed. All these difficulties amount to fear, to a certain uncertainty that you have. And I actually really like this acronym, false evidence appearing real, because that's what fear is really all about. It's not really there, but you think it is, and that creates a certain psychological pressure. But is it really that difficult these days? I don't think so. Because nowadays, with the technology and all the networks that you have, through internet and so on, if you have a problem, let's say you have a deadlock or you need a new staff, you can tap into the crowd. You can just publish it online and you'll get what you need. Also with money. These days, you can publish your project and enthusiase people and allow them to be a part of what you're doing. And this is working very well, and I think it's actually a great opportunity for entrepreneurs these days. So it's all about fun. And this is the company that I'm currently developing, Bound Space, where we're opening a co-working and meeting space in a stadium. So we're going to rent out all kinds of parts of the stadium. So I think that's really cool, and I'm very, very happy with that. So what I want to bring to you today is to remember that everything starts in your mind, and to question the conditionings that you might have about starting a business or about entrepreneurship, and about what other people say about it. And instead, just go for it and start your own business. That's it. Thank you very much.